Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and these are my 5 favorite metal albums of December 2020. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. First up, we need to talk about Soilwork and their new EP, A Whisp of the Atlantic via Nuclear Blast Records. I covered this album in more detail in my full review, but I can't say enough just how much it surprised me. I haven't really cared for Soilwork's material much since the early 2000s, finding them always falling very short of, at least in my opinion, much more consistent and accomplished bands in the genre like Dark Tranquillity. That said, Soilwork have turned the tables this year, as A Whisp of the Atlantic is far more interesting and forward-thinking than Moment is. These guys absolutely knocked it out of the park with the more expansive, progressive directions front and center this time around. The 16+ minute title track alone is worthy of its own standalone video with all of its impressive twists and turns, but really all 5 of these songs have something to offer, from the heavy metal sounding riffs of Feverish and The Nothingness and The Devil to the absolutely ripping melodeath rager Desperado. And that's not even to mention the gorgeous symphonic elements all over this EP from Sven Karlsson, as well as some additional instrumentation to further add to the already textured atmosphere. Really stunning stuff, and let me close just by saying once more that Bjorn's vocals have actually never felt more at home than within these new directions. Keep up the good work, Soilwork. You've won me back. Next up, we have the return of Long Island band Cryptodira and the Angel of History via Good Fight Records. Cryptodira is an eclectic band worthy of many genre tags, including progressive metal, mathcore, post-hardcore, and jazz, recommended for fans of The Hirsch Effect, Autocatalytica, and Between the Buried and Me. They previously caught my attention with 2017's excellent The Devil's Despair, but with the Angel of History, I really feel like they've taken everything that was great about that album and taken it to a completely other level. It's a kinetic work of highly coordinated chaos that reminds me of days long ago spent listening to The Silent Circus and Alaska on repeat. Constantly shifting frameworks of complex guitar work, funky bass grooves, and highly technical drumming. Seriously, some of the work on the kit here is absolutely maddening. And it all comes together alongside vocals that one moment are ion dissonance and the next cleans that clearly have more than a little Tommy Giles Rogers influence. All 8 of these tracks are works of excellence, but if you're looking for a place to start, lead single A Tendency to Fall serves as a very concise summary of most of the elements that you can expect from the album as a whole. Be sure to also check out the review that Chris wrote on MetalTrenches.com for even more insight into the album. Alright, then we have Yashira with Fail to Be, also via Good Fight Records. This is the much anticipated follow-up to the band's breakout 2018 album Shrine. I'd describe Yashira's sound overall as sludgecore, fusing the ominous plotting riffs of sludge with the more aggressive tinges of hardcore as their foundation, but delving into progressive and post-metal elements as well. Tracks like Inertia Mines are certainly worthy of note, with the massive Mastodon reminiscent riffs as well as some notes of post-hardcore in the vocals. I'm also quite hypnotized by the start-stop riffs of Amnesia, more so every time I listen to it. And in addition to the stylistic diversity already mentioned, don't be surprised to hear some very effective death growls sprinkled throughout the album to further punctuate and intensify the already palpable bitterness and loathing overtones. But even ignoring the vocals completely, the guitars do plenty of the talking with dark, monstrous-sounding melodies that conjure nightmarish imagery of deep-sea monsters and lumbering giants. And not to be left out, the drumming on the faster moments is absolutely ridiculous. Check out Shards of Heaven for some truly arthritis-inducing and highly technical work from clearly talented newcomer Ryan O'Neal, who takes up duties on the kit after the untimely passing of former drummer Seth Howard. Despite this tragedy, or perhaps in part because of it, Yashira sound better than ever on this monolith of an album. Then we've got Norway's Beaten to Death with their self-released 4-part EP series Laat Maar. Beaten to Death already turned my head in a big way with 2018's Agronomicon, and I continue to only become more impressed with this new release. Their brand of grindcore is a wholly unique one that mixes in plenty of melody, technicality, and experimentation that is often difficult to put into words. But that level of diversity and unpredictability is on a completely new level with Laat Maar. Each EP delivers 4 songs inspired by a particular forest, these being Mastbos in the Netherlands, Japan's infamous Eyakagagahara, Norway's Ostmarka, and Star Wars' fictional forest moon of Endor. As a result, all 4 parts end up having a pretty distinct aesthetic while still being woven together by the band's very signature tone. Some songs are harsh and brutal, others bright and vibrant, sometimes both in the same song and everything in between. I know a lot of my regular viewers passed by on the full review when I dropped it several weeks back, but I promise that if you're one of them, you've made a grave mistake. Beaten to Death are one of the most innovative acts in the genre right now, and honestly out of Norway in general, and what they've crafted here deserves so much more attention than it's getting. And last but not least, I want to pay tribute once more to black metal project Oculus and the new album Melinoe. Now before you all jump down my throat and say that came out in November, let me remind you that the official release date is still December, and the only reason it dropped early was because some asshat leaked it. That being said, this album is every bit as worthy as its already impressive 2015 predecessor, The Dreaming Eye. Ancient Greek for a chthonic nymph or goddess and bringer of nightmares and madness, I can think of no better title for this highly atmospheric work of sheer dread. It's a truly menacing assault on the senses that feels like massive walls of imposing tremolo melodies and shrieking black metal vocals are constantly closing in on you. And once more, as I stated in my full review, despite its overall focus on atmosphere and use of repetition, not once during its runtime am I bored for even a second. Nas Alchemeth manages to craft these always subtly building compositions that just grow and grow like evil spirits rising out of the underworld. Even during the largely ambient and over 6-minute succubare, I'm on the edge of my seat just waiting for the inevitable next tumble into more spiraling hellscapes. Easily one of the best black metal records of the year overall. Don't miss out on Oculus, and while you're at it, check out Nas's other projects, Eratos and Nightbringer as well. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know down in the comments what were your favorite albums of December, and hey, stick around because I got plenty more videos coming up. I've got my best albums of the entire year list up now, tier list, interviews with bands on the podcast, you name it, we've got it, so again, plenty of reasons to subscribe if you've not already. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.